This is Dr. Justina Agnieszka Chevalier. This video is a video that I denominated balancing sexual activity. The video is slowing down a little bit and trying to put in as good of a reception as possible. It is to be done after serving of those likes and dislikes. Goal of that exercise is to re-establish source of sexual pleasure and romantic love as own body and nobody else's. That's first goal. And second goal, it is to understand that love for the other person and sexual desire is derived from physical body in presence of one specific individual. Third goal of such is to remove all of mind occurring obstacles in negative emotions manifested in body as numbness. So in sexual arousal, cessation of sexual arousal and insensitivity to touch, accompanied by such occurrence as in mind thought, vision, or some sort that leads to negative emotion and causes cessation of arousal, sexual arousal, and pleasure and joy and love. And also of visualizing of the other person as someone else to be able to obtain the sexual arousal, becoming empty-minded to forget that that person is present in a perception of or sense of loss because of guilt or someone else in mind. And also to make sure that natural capacity of a man to pursue a woman for sexual partner and being source of semen to fertilize that woman and source of masculinity and perception of power and strength and sense of capacity and active role is restored in such men, and having that also based on, as a result of that exercise, trust that that woman is, when presenting sexual arousal, causing such and causing adoration as I described in the exercise denominated drugless mind expansion. Also, it is to know that that woman actually pursues well-being and sex as source of children because of that being possible with that specific person as opposed to all others, and not have an urge to hurt her because of belief that such is not possible, or because of belief that she desires or loves somebody else, and to eliminate sexuality as searching of pleasure as sole source in enjoyment of observation of pleasure in a woman, in that other person. For a woman, the exercise is to enable sexual surrender, trust that that man pursues, when she usually is a dominative person that provides, saves his life, and that usually is a person who pursues him sexually or declares love, and he's less such in that he is in her in such way entrusted, and that in his masculinity he actually is pursuing sex because of her sexual reciprocity proven to him in visualization upon physical stimuli and emotional stimuli, that it is such assurement of safety and no lies about it. Cardinal rule of that exercise is derived from Taiwanese Taoist sexual water tradition, and also one other source that presented such dynamic as a video for me as a literature. And the goal is, in simple words, grounding of that person who suffers from identity confusion that makes that person perceive self as being part of others at all times and in fear of no intimacy, or that person who envisions only limited in described in that drugless mind expansion, love as self being joined in body, separated in soul with that person, so hearing voices or rehearsing conversation with that person, touching self, seeing or envisioning hand of that person, as opposed to in physical presence when that person is feared or usually rejected or presented as impossible. And persons need to understand that for a healthy couple, that is an exercise that is not necessary. A female has to know that that man actually seeks, after the likes and loves are established, he seeks to pursue her and pursue her to make love to her and pursue her to be loved back, and that he is source of such, and faith in that he actually pursues her in masculinity to impress her with choosing her and personal goodness, to become chosen as father of that asexual intercourse goes child, and that person actually is in only such in second circumstances that makes man and woman equal interested, pursuing which that activity consists and is that person to enable in a woman sexual surrender to that male's utmost masculinity, being overpowered by it, that causes relaxation of muscles, difficulty speaking, difficulty concentrating, difficulty also moving, slowing down, and that woman basically loses almost consciousness as in a very pleasant way as a result of masculinity in pursuit of that man, and enables such an ascension to an orgasm that leads to wanting of children, that at this time creates a lasting mutual bond in second or consecutive encounters of that couple, as opposed to actually being interrupted or not taking place ever, and or being leading to potential to harm. And for a man it is to enable need for such pursuit in greater confidence that it is not only possible but wanted, and that woman will not prepare or arm to fight back. Restoration of such faith, regardless of how much she was actually in the past disappointed or harmed, in no anymore or not no pain or reflex to harm him. However, in also no passivity of such sort, or in mistrust that it is even possible, because nowadays that dynamic is distorted. And that exercise then has as prerequisite that at least 2 months prior, a woman is off all of medical aids to enable ovulation, and all hormonal aids, such as contraceptives or any sort of treatments, and all mechanical devices that impede such, so that she has clear mind and judgment in direction towards the as progression in that dynamic in those exercises goes. And man also does not have with him condoms or any other contraception that assume that sex will happen, and that if it is such, it is unwanted. The goal is now here that the person who is mistrustful and struggles with identity is passive. Place is to be a place that is instinctively usually pursued by both for meetings, safe, dry, with enough food and water for between 3 hours to 24 to 48 hours. And that is in such based on the needs and resolution of such as I described in goals, that those goals are achieved, so that the person comes back home, voices of that person disappear, the person stops talking to that person, being source that person in person, and so does the other if that is lived together. Persons are to be corroborated from that list of suitors or maidens in reciprocity and consented to such, and for that first most impeding normal functioning that is most wanted most of the time by visions, dreams of lovemaking and sexual activity to greatest seriousness as source of children, vows and life together, is the one to try to do such, corroborated with that person on such, consented to such and with such preparation. Next video will be the instructive of the dynamic in detail, what is supposed to take place and how to prepare for it.